I had a friend whom I regard as a friend, philosopher, guide in those years. He was 7 years my senior, Mr. Allah Baksh Brohi. He came from a very small little village in Sindh. He was a teacher in a madrasa. I pulled him out of the madrasa and we started the firm of Brohi and Company. Believe you me, at the end of 6 years, the admission day in the Chief Court of Sindh used to be Monday. There were about 20 items of admission matters. I have done 20 matters on a single Monday with every matter Brohi and Company.
Wow.
But Brohi was not a great lawyer, but he was a great orator.
Oh, excellent.
And he was an MA first class from the Bombay University with an MA Buddha and Kant as his special philosophers.
Wow.
And he was a great scholar. And he used to attract all the work and I used to do it. But he, of course, he in his own way was a great contribution.
Yeah.
And do you know, we entered into a partnership without settling any terms.
That's amazing.
We know each other's needs. That was the only term of the partnership. Never did it happen that I needed some money and I didn't get it.
That's wonderful.
But when the partition came, I had no bank account. I had no money of my own.
I see.
Because every time I needed money, I had to ask I used to have a clerk called Ghulam Qadir. Ghulam Qadir, I need so much money today. I used to get it. I never opened a bank account in my life. But I thought that the madness of partition was temporary. And it will come to an end. I had already sent away my family. I had come to Bombay and kept my family somewhere. Then, you know, and I used to live all alone in Karachi in the hope that sanity will return.
I see.
Sindh was singularly free from riots because Sindh is a cradle of Sufism. We had developed such a wonderful synthesis of Hinduism and Islam that Hindus habitually worshipped at Muslim shrines and Muslims likewise used to worship at Hindu devotees and temples and things like that. It was the land of Sufism.
Sure.
And you know, we had one of the greatest poets that the world has ever produced, Shah Abdul Latif. Scholars are of the view that he was superior to Shakespeare and Tagore combined. And I, who has knowledge of Sindhi language, I know that he is just absolutely incomparable. I have not seen this kind of things in the... Anyway, he was a philosopher and so on. Then came the February 48 riots.
Oh, yeah.
And it is not the Sindhi Muslims. It is Muslims who came from Bihar and other places, who came determined, revenge, intiqam as they used to call it in those days. And that became the prevailing atmosphere in February 48. And my friend Brohi told me that he said, Ram, I no longer can take the guarantee give you the guarantee of your security. And he advised me to migrate.
I see.
So I migrated in 48. I started life in a refugee camp. But I must tell you about my poverty.
Sure.
As I told you, I landed in Bombay with a 10 rupee note as my only property, with the clothes that I was wearing. Brohi would write to me, because his practice shot up. All Hindu lawyers left.
Sure.
He was the only one. His practice shot up. He would write to me that, Ram, whatever I am earning is yours. Tell me what you want. And I will write back to him that, Brohi, I am trying my manhood here. I won't draw on you ever.
That's amazing.
Like that. The only time I drew upon him was when I bought a car. You know, we Sindhis are all, we live beyond our means all the time. So I bought a car, and the fellow who sold the car to me, a new Morgan car in those days, it's just about 3,000-4,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So he was going to Pakistan, he wanted some money there. So I told him, I said, meet my friend Mr. Broi, he'll give it to you. And Broi, poor fellow, he gave it to him like.
Sure.
Then Broi ultimately, because of his growing practice,
Yeah.
became the law minister of Pakistan
Oh,
before 1956.
that's interesting.
When the constitution of Pakistan was being drawn up, Broi was in habitual consultation with me.
Oh, that's
And I can find some footprints of mine in that constitution.
amazing.
And that was the best constitution Pakistan ever had. It came into force on the 23rd of March 1956, which is still celebrated as the Pakistan Day, but without any rhyme or reason. Because that was the constitution which within the next 2 years was superseded by a dictator who destroyed Pakistan's democracy.
That's too bad.
It is unfortunate that Jinnah died there. And today in Pakistan, nobody remembers Jinnah.
That's true.
Nobody remembers. The speech that fellow made on the 14th of August 1947, if Pakistan had followed that speech only, I mean, India and Pakistan would have been friends, we would have been both happy countries, living in peace and cooperation. But even Jinnah died there of tuberculosis, you know what happened to him. There Jinnah died, here Gandhi died. Well, I have made good in practice. I started practice at the lowest rung of the ladder. I started practice in the small causes court. I started with summary suits in the Bombay City Civil Court. Fortunately, you know that we Sindhis, we are in the banking business. And all these Sindhis have their indigenous system of banking, the hundi system. And suits on hundis used to be filed.
Correct.
So one banker wanted a degree against a partner of a firm which had given the hundi, but who had retired. Retired at the date of the loan.
Yeah.
So he says, sir, I want a decree against him. So I read up the law and I got him a decree.
Okay.
You might be surprised how I got that decree.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
In the Partnership Act, there is a section 72 which says if you retire, you must give notice. And that notice has a very complex definition. It must be in a local newspaper, the official gazette. And can you believe that all the big solicitors of India, where Jinnah practiced and Bhulabhai Desai practiced, did not know of this section? I am a young Sindhi lawyer who at the age of, I got a decree. And all the bankers of Sindh became my clients. Like that, you know, these are some accidental circumstances which happen in your life. There was a friend of mine who had taken up some criminal cases. And he was picked up in the Indian Administrative Service. So he came to me and he said, Ram, listen, I have taken money from the clients, but I have spent it away. Now I have no money to refund. Will you do these cases free? I said, with the greatest pleasure. So I had 3 terribly leading cases. A central bank dacoity, a Mahalakshmi temple dacoity, and a third dacoity, I forget. And in those days, we had trials by jury.
That's correct.
And I appeared for the accused in those cases, and I got established as the great jury lawyer of and that reputation kept me going.
Sure.
Then I did a lot of cases. Then came the famous
Nanavati case. Correct. So
Nanavati.
please tell us something about the Nanavati case.
Well, you know, Nanavati was a ladies' man. The evidence at the trial disclosed that he was carrying on not only with that girl Sylvia, who was Commander Nanavati's wife. He was the naval guy. But at the same time, he was carrying on with the Air Force man as well as the army man. And Sylvia was a fantastic beauty. I met her, and I don't blame her for falling for Prem, because Prem was also a great socialite, rich man, and a great personality, and he was a great dancer.
Oh.
That made it fatal.
Uh-huh.
So Nanavati went to his office in the Navy, got the revolver issued that morning on the false pretext that I'm going for shooting birds, but he wanted to shoot this fellow.